Okay, friends, today we're starting chapter 24. I have been long-winded the last two times we've been together. I will be a little more short-winded today. We're 11 seconds in. That's my intention, at least. I want to set up this week. Chapter 24 is a chapter of what we call apocalyptic literature. What does that mean? You hear apocalypse and you know exactly what it means, right? It means being about the end of the world. Not really. It's come to mean that, but what it actually means is it is like a synonym for like a revelation. In fact, we call the last book of the Bible Revelation. It's not plural, by the way. People say revelations. It's singular. Revelation. There's one revelation. It's the revelation of John. It could just as easily be translated as the apocalypse of John. Apocalypse and revelation mean the same thing. It is not necessarily doing with the end of the world. What it means is something that is revealed by God. That's what it means. A lot of times that has to do with the end of the world, but not necessarily. So this is apocalyptic literature that is God revealing something. And the other trait of apocalyptic literature is that it is highly allegorical. It is highly metaphorical. Okay, so it's not going to make sense on the surface, right? You gotta read between the lines. The best example that we have of this in our Bible is Revelation. Let me give you one example. At one point, Revelation talks about the mark of the beast, and the beast also has a number. What is the beast number? It is 666. What in the world does that mean? We picture one day somebody coming along and scribbling those three letters on people's foreheads. Okay, what do we know about this? Jews associated each letter of the alphabet with a number, okay? So, and not necessarily just the number it is in the alphabet, more like, think Roman numerals here. If you look at Nero's name, who was the emperor at the time when Revelation was written, and you add up the letters of his name with the numbers that they're associated with, you get the number 666. So when it talks about the mark of the beast and it talks about the number of the Antichrist, it is a clear wink and nod to anybody reading it who understands the way the Hebrew world works, that who is the Antichrist, who is the one who is like the antithesis of Christ and working against Christ? Well, it's the emperor. When you read apocalyptic literature, sometimes it is talking about the future, and sometimes it is speaking about the present in allegorical language. For example, what I would contend is that a part of Revelation is about what is happening to the people in that day and about the past. And a part of it is about what will be happening in the future, okay? Same thing here today in chapter 24. There's just one verse that I want to show you that will set up our reading for this week. We'll read a little bit before it. Verse 1. Jesus left the temple and was going away when his disciples came to point out to him the building of the temple. And he answered them, "You see all these, do you not? Truly I say to you, there will not be left here one stone upon the other that will not be thrown down." Jesus looks at the temple, he's like, you got to go to Israel with us. The retaining wall is still there, and the retaining wall itself is unbelievable. You look at it and you're like, how in the world could people have done this? It's unreal. The temple itself would have been magnificent. And Jesus says something that is utterly astounding to them. One day that temple will not be there. It will be thrown down brick by brick. And of course, it actually happens in 70 AD. That actually happens, okay? The Romans do it. They have some questions about this. So he sits down on the Mount of Olives. When you picture Jerusalem and you see the temple of the rock, this is the picture that you're picturing, sitting on the Mount of Olives. The disciples came to him privately saying, tell us when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your coming at the end of the age? Okay. Here is the key to understanding 24. And my friend and colleague Alex Johnston is the one who pointed this out to a group of us recently as we were sitting down talking about this. You should know this. We sit down every other week and talk about all of these chapters and talk about who will do the Bible studies, but even more importantly, like what we know about them, what we're learning about them, all of this stuff. total collaboration. It's really, really great. Here's what she pointed out. There are actually two questions here. One, when will these things be? What are these things? The destruction of the temple. Okay? When will these things be? It's right there. This is what they just asked about. When are these stones going to be thrown down? Or what he just said. When will this happen? Question number two. What will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Two different questions. One about, you just said the temple is going to like blow up. When's that going to happen? And then two, when is like the fulfillment of all of these things going to take place? I don't know exactly what they're going after here, because it seems like they get it more than at other times it seems like they do. But like, when is the fullness of the kingdom like going to be to be ushered in? They may think that this is very, very imminent. Okay, yeah, maybe this they certainly don't see the resurrection coming. There's no question about that. I've got some more thinking to do on that and some study. But you see the distinction in these two things, right? Okay. Roughly speaking, if you turn and if you go all the way to verse 34, roughly speaking, Jesus is answering question number 1 up until verse 34. And then look how he ends it. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until these things take place. So that is until the temple is destroyed. It will happen within a generation. And it does, 70 AD. And it does. And everything between the question and verses 34 and 35 is about when this will happen. And so when you're reading it, read it through that lens. Heaven and earth will not pass away, but my words will not pass away. Then 36 through the end of the chapter is about the second question. What will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age? And really it even goes beyond that. I mean, we continue to get some apocalyptic ideas in these parables, imagery in these parables. So think about that. One is about, again, the destruction of the temple. And the second question is about the end. I'm not going to go too far into this because we're going to talk about it later this week. But really the punchline to what will be the sign of your coming and at the end of the age, really the punchline is, I'm not going to tell you because only the Father knows. And really what you need to know is that you need to be ready. That's kind of the punchline. You need to be ready. So today was really a primer to get us ready for your reading and for the rest of the week. Hopefully that helps a little bit. We are going to be out of the apocalyptic language soon and get to the kind of the Passion Week, really more straightforward stuff, but live in this stuff, right? Recognize that it's deep, it's rich, the metaphor matters. Spend some time with it and see what God says to you. Oh, still long-winded. I mean, if you were to take the average of the length of the days that I have versus other people, like I talk too much. So here I just keep going. So God bless you, friends. Keep up with the reading, and I will see you soon.